Morning Football, everybody. We are here together on a Wednesday, November 1st. I'm Kay Adams. We've got Nate Burleson, Peter Schrager, Kyle Brandt, and this show does take place in New York City. So I think I speak for everybody here at the table, in the front of the camera, behind the scenes, in saying that our thoughts and our prayers are with everybody that was affected by yesterday's tragedy taking place in Manhattan. We are in New York. We love New York. So let's do the show, guys. Time for the lead block.
Lead block.
All right, here we go. Well, we're going to play a little game here. We're going to obviously go around and talk about a lot of these trades, but I would like to say first, happy 300th show, guys.
Oh, 300.
This is our 300th show.
How about that?
On NFL Network as Good Morning Football.
300.
That's I don't know, I can't wrap my head around it.
We're keeping it 300, Nate.
Keeping it 300.
I love it.
Listen, you remember our first episode?
No.
It was
a fever dream.
It was awkward. It was four strangers basically being introduced to each other, and we're sitting here trying to figure out how we're going to get through 3 hours, let alone 300 episodes. So,
and I would consider giving you a nugget on television.
Right.
It's fine.
Great job. I love you guys. And everybody behind the scenes, it's us that you see on TV, but there's so many people that have their hands in making us look good every single day.
We're the Spartans. Our arrows will block out the sun, and we will do football in the shade.
Wow.
I love it. Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler. That's right.
After the show
it's breakfast.
And during the show, Jay Ajayi gets traded, right? So we each ate our body weight in candy here at the breakfast table. We're sugar high. We go home, and it was nothing but treat after treat. If you love the NFL and everything that happened as the trade deadline came to a close at 4 p.m. Eastern just yesterday. So for more on what you might have missed, here's our very own NFL Network insider, Ian Rappaport.
Rarely does an NFL trade deadline include big names changing teams. That is exactly what happened on Tuesday. First of all, meanwhile, Jay Ajayi, the franchise running back for the Miami Dolphins, is no longer a member of the Dolphins. He went to the Philadelphia Eagles to tag team with LeGarrette Blount, all for the price of a fourth-round pick. Ajayi and Adam Gase simply were not getting along. Meanwhile, Jimmy Garoppolo, the former heir to Tom Brady, went for a second-round pick from New England to the San Francisco 49ers, where they hope to reach a long-term contract extension with him, immediately declaring that he is their franchise quarterback. Then, of course, there was the trade that did not happen. A.J. McCarron almost went from the Bengals to the Browns for a second and a third-round pick, but neither side got their paperwork in time.
Great stuff from Ian Rappaport. Let's talk about some of these deals. They were some blockbusters, in my opinion. Usually trade deadlines such as snooze, but these went down. So I want to know, guys, who are the winners in each of these trades? Starting with the one that could have some implications for tomorrow's Thursday night football matchup right here in New York, or actually in East Rutherford. That's okay. You can see that on NFL Network. I want to talk about the Bills getting receiver Kelvin Benjamin from the Panthers. They get a third and a seventh rounder in return in 2018. Nate, who wins? You're the wide receiver.
Yeah, what did he say? It's all about the Benjamins, baby. And there's so many ways to look at it. You can look at Cam Newton and say, oh, well, Cam might be the loser. You can even go to the Bills and look at Tyrod Taylor and the host of wide receivers, even Shady McCoy, that could benefit off of having a guy like Kelvin Benjamin in the lineup. But I would say the ultimate winner in this situation is Devin Funchess.
Okay.
What did Snoop Dogg say? He said, ain't no fun if the homies can't have none.
I love that jam.
Emphasis on the word fun. Now Funchess can have more fun. There's targets that are going to be available now. They've targeted Funchess 58 times. He has 33 catches. But they targeted Kelvin Benjamin 51 times. He ended up with 32 catches before he was shipped off to Buffalo. So now even more catches are going to go his way. We saw in moments this season where Devin Funchess kind of came into his own. You have to understand, and Peter Schrager, you said this early in the meeting, right around 5 a.m., that they're similar structures, similar body frames, so they're almost the same person. Cam can sit back, lean on, and have a decision and say, I'm going to Funchess more times than not. He can move the sticks, he can catch the ball over the middle, and then in the red zone, he's going to get even more targets. So the ultimate winner, even though you look at Cam, him losing Kelvin Benjamin, and he loves him, we saw the tweets. You look at the Bills and what they're going to get with Kelvin Benjamin, hopefully he can pick up within that system, and I'll talk about how him as a receiver can apply to that offense a little bit later in the show. But the ultimate winner here, Devin Funchess. Hey, it's your time. They don't trade away a guy unless they have faith in you as a wide receiver.
I think the Buffalo Bills are winners, too, just to add to that, because, or the fans really is what I'm trying to say, because they're there, right? It's not this, oh, we're having this great season and then we expect them to not make it, which we've seen before when it comes to Buffalo. This is a big name. They pulled in a really big name, and he can win at the, catch point contested situations. He might not be a burner like a Goodwin, but he's another guy that's going to take attention off defenses when they take Sammy Watkins away. Is he as fast as Sammy Watkins? I don't know if he can be, but I'm excited if I'm a Buffalo Bills fan that they win for it.
Yeah. I'll say this, though. It's not as simple of a transition going from one team to another because Tyrod Taylor sitting back in that pocket, as we've seen in his highlights, he sits back and he extends the play. So if you're a route runner in that offense, you're going to have to run maybe 1, 2, even sometimes 3 routes, which is the scramble drill, which is why you see guys running wide open while Tyrod's doing what Tyrod does. It's similar to a spot-up shooter going to a fast-paced, up-tempo offense in basketball. Kelvin Benjamin is going to have to adjust his style. I would even say get even better, even more shape than he is already right now within that offense because he's going to have to run a gun keeping up with Tyrod and those balls down the field.
How about the Eagles? They got running back Jay Ajayi from the Dolphins in exchange for a 4th-round pick in 2018. Before we get into this one, let's hear what Eagles GM and friend of the show, Howie Roseman, had to say about Philadelphia's running backs.
We like our running back group. You know, this was an opportunity that came to us that we thought was a good player who could add to our team, a young player who's under contract for the next couple of years. And at the same time, everyone's seen the way LeGarrett's run. Wendell's had really good games for us. Corey. We brought Kenyon back as well. So it just adds to the group and all that stuff. Playing time is sorted out by the coaches, but LeGarrette continues to be our starter, and just really excited to have that group and add a good player.
All right, so Leg is the starter, but they get Jay Ajayi. It's a pretty nice little...
It is, yes. I would say, look, the winner boils down to one man. We're talking Philadelphia Eagles, and that's Mike Trout, the LA Angels center fielder. We found out he is a fan. He's very excited. You know why I bring that up? Because really all of Philadelphia, the fans, Kevin Hart, Hall & Oates, G Love and Special Sauce, Jazzy Jeff, all of them, Boys to Men, are big winners as a city because the best team in the NFL just got a great player. But really, I'm going to go specific on this. I'm going to go counterintuitive. I think the big winner of the Jay Ajayi trade is LeGarrette Blount. I genuinely do, because LeGarrette Blount is 30 years old. Jay Ajayi is 24 years old. You look at the best seasons LeGarrette's ever had. It was last year with all those Patriots in play. It was way back in 2010 when Cadillac Williams was getting big carries. And Philadelphia, I'll speak to them in their language. LeGarrette Blount is a closer. He is not a starter. He is a closer. He is your Tug McGraw, your Steve Bedrosian, your Johnny Paps. And in all of his seasons that LeGarrette Blount has played, he's kind of tapered off in December and in January. So I think truly when he comes in, beats up teams in the fourth quarter, does what we saw him do last year in New England, I think that is a better Eagles offense. And I think Ajayi catches the ball better. I think he pass blocks better. I think he'll play more. So we now have a starter and a closer. I think Howie Roseman is being a little diplomatic, but I think that he's going to get in more.
I think the Dolphins locker room on this one might be the winner too, because if this guy was a malcontent, which what we're hearing now after the fact, everyone wants to throw shade on a guy once he's out the door, then we're still a team in the running here. So it's interesting that the Eagles pick up this fantastic player and get LeGarrette Blount the help he needs in the backfield. But for the Dolphins, is it addition by subtraction? They are so galvanized right now. And if this guy was a squeaky wheel, maybe that's exactly what they need to do, get rid of him for their playoff push.
They're galvanized? I mean, they lost 40-0. You think this is going to do that?
Maybe. Do you not shake things up when you lose 40-0?
Here's the thing. It sounds cool when Adam Gase says, no, I'm not going to tolerate this and get rid of it. But it's not cool unless it works. Last year it worked with those linemen. Adam Gase came out and said, we have the worst offense in the league. And then you get rid of your leading rusher. It's a really bad move unless it doesn't work. So we'll find out.
What's really important is the fantasy angle of this.
Obviously.
What you're saying. So you think LeGarrette Blount will probably, have like 12 touches a game? Or you think he'll be there?
I think he'll have a lesser role, and I think he'll do a lot more of what he did last year, a lot more of the goal line stuff.
We talk a lot, you and I, and your running back, about, the volume needing to be there, guys needing to warm up like a Kareem Hunt, getting the ball a ton of times. That's not LeGarrette Blount. So
I don't think it is, no. I think he's vocational. I think you can give him 5 carries a game, and he'll still give you 2 touchdowns. What are you laughing at? Is it G Love and Special Sauce?
In my ear said loser, Kyle's vocal cords. They're really raspy right now.
Listen.
Is this the Tim Riggins effect?
It is. I sound like Kiefer Sutherland after a carton of Parliaments. I got to tell you, previously on 24. I kind of like it.
Selma and Patty from The Simpsons.
I'll say you're dropping some Philly references. I think we just got a nickname.
What do you got?
Flesh Blunt, and DJ Jazzy Jay Ajayi.
Wow, Nate. I'll leave that to you, my friend.
We had the running back, the wide receiver. So how about the Niners Monday night, the day before the trade deadline, acquiring quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo from the Patriots in exchange for a second-round pick in 2018. Take a listen to Bill Belichick and John Lynch on the trade.
49ers are getting a good player, and they're getting a good person. It's a very complex situation on multiple levels, and this is really the last window that we had, and we did what we felt was best for the team.
I will tell you that I think wanted to do a trade this offseason. We inquired and were quickly shut down, and it never even became. They never came to fruition at all. And in the last couple days, it did, and we were very pleased that that was the case.
All right, Peter, who is the biggest winner from the Jimmy Garoppolo trade? A lot of angles here.
A lot of angles here, and we're going to talk about it all show long, but the biggest winner for me is the 49er fan at home, and let me explain why. Okay. Not only do you get this quarterback, but the stress of, do I root for my team on Sunday? Because I also want the top quarterback in the draft, and if we're tanking, and if we're losing, and we need to lose to be good, and it's all gone. You now have 8 weeks of carefree football. Just root for your team. Enjoy the 49ers. Right. And it might be C.J. Beathard the rest of the way for all we know. Maybe, I thought about this. I had time to marinate on this yesterday, and I love this video of Jimmy showing up.
Look at that, man.
What a stud. This guy's a good-looking kid.
John Lynch is now the second coolest guy in that organization.
Yeah,
Sorry, John.
Sorry, John. Second best jawline.
Hello.
I will say this, though. I thought about it. If I'm a Niners fan, I don't want to see Jimmy Garoppolo on the field this year.
All year?
All year. Let him, for 8 weeks, learn Kyle Shanahan's offense. If they had signed him in March, he wouldn't have been allowed in the facility because of the CBA until he was allowed to do that in like May or maybe even June. Now he's there in November. November 1st. Study that playbook. Be attached to Kyle Shanahan's hip. Don't get hurt. Put him on ice. Sign him to a long-term deal. If I'm a 49ers fan, I am just kicking back. I am putting a cigar in my mouth, and I don't care if we go 0-16. Yeah. I'll get Saquon Barkley, and I got my quarterback. Right. Or if we win 6 straight games, I got my quarterback. I feel great if I'm a Niners fan. I love it because the stress of week 17. If we win, we don't get the first pick, and then we have to lose, the chance of Sam Darnold. It's gone. You got your quarterback. Enjoy.
Stressful for him, too, right? If they roll him out there right away with all the pressure, 0-8 team to sort of play for that money.
It is.
In that contract.
The money's going to be there. Based on what I heard yesterday, they're willing to.
Hey, Brissett did it.
He
left the Pats and said, I'm playing right away.
No need. Where are you going?
No. But I like that idea a lot because if you're a 49ers fan, everybody wants to be critical when a trade happens. Yeah. They're waiting for something to happen. They're waiting for him to go out there, throw an interception, and be like, I told you it wasn't going to work. If you let him sit back, then everybody gets to reserve all that and just wait. And you get more excited when you see a guy on the sideline not suited up.
I think the winner is Jimmy Garoppolo. He's the winner in this trade because he was offered an extension from the Patriots. And he said, you know what? I really want to start. And he's got the same agent as Tom Brady. So he knew Brady's not leaving anytime soon, and he got his way. He somehow, in a world where he doesn't have much control, called his shot, and he's now going to be playing for the Niners. And I give the kid a lot of credit from going from, we see him on the duck boat. I saw him, you guys saw him with Tom Brady. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's got a pretty good gig with the Patriots. For him to want to go to an 0-8 team and get it going, and you just see like what he looked, at that press conference, he sat down. He was the first to speak and thank both Belichick and his new opportunity. Like he won.
And it's funny. It's a winless team, and there's so much excitement for San Francisco right now. I think you make a good point too. Garoppolo won, but those Niners fans at the end of the year they could be like, we kind of want to lose. We don't want to blow the draft pick.
You know how that gets.
Yeah,
week 16.
We'd rather lose. We have the number 1 pick now. They're like, whatever. I have to stop watching Wyoming highlights of Josh Allen.
Yeah, I don't
We're
feel
good.
Watching.
I'm fine. We got our guy. Garoppolo won. Niners fans.
Just to think, he posted about this a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. That was some show.
First day of free agency. What did he say? He Instagrammed something and then it just deleted. No, whatever.
That was him. Come on, Jimmy. We know it's you. Admit it now.
All right, coming up, we'll break down the trade that didn't happen. Yes, there is a trade that did not go down. Almost did. You guys got to break this down. It's the Browns, the Bengals, McCarron, some late